Hey, what's going on? So while I'm still on the grind on Yokai Peak Nightmare because I'm so terribly unlucky, I figured I should make another video on maybe something not from Yokai Peak, but from something else on Dungeon Quest. So yeah, I have been really unlucky in Yokai Peak, as even to this day, I'm still looking for a goddamn purple Kuma piece. Like, no joke, I still haven't gotten a single purple Akuma piece besides that one Guardian helmet that I showed in the last video. As a matter of fact, I'm actually still grinding to look for gear from Gilded Skies to do Yokai Peak with Gilded Skies items, and I haven't gotten anything for that as well. I did get something, but it's not what I want to get. Or at least not in the pot range that I want to get in. So yeah, the grind still continues, and until I get whatever I really need, you're probably not going to see that video for hopefully not too long. So in this video, I thought I'd give you guys 5 weird anomalies in Dungeon Quest that you may or may not find useful, but it's still cool regardless. So I'm not going to order these glitches based on how useful or widely known they are. I'm just going to show 5 of the most interesting anomalies that I've been facing in Dungeon Quest, and quite frankly still face today, but who knows. So hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get what I really want out of Yokai Peak and from Gilded Skies, and hopefully in the future, maybe not too long from now, maybe at least a few weeks at most, you will probably see me do Yokai Peak with Gilded Skies items once I actually get my luck in this dungeon, because I literally been robbed of all my luck from my friends. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So the first weird anomaly we have on the list is the Midgardian Champion in Northern Lands. Now this has actually been in since Northern Lands was released, but it's still a thing that exists today. So basically, if you get the Midgardian Champion to jump on top of you and then you don't move when it starts putting that circle on you, the next time it throws its big shuriken at you, it will actually disappear, and you won't be able to attack it until it goes back onto its little pedestal. And when it does, it'll actually be underground. Here, have a look. So this glitch surprisingly actually doesn't really do anything other than just to mess with or confuse your team. It would have been really cool if it actually killed the boss, but I've tested this in a studio place. The only reason he does not die is because he has a part inside him that is anchored, which means it cannot move, or at least it cannot move without having scripts moving it. So that's the whole reason why he doesn't die, and the reason he's underground when he teleports back is beyond me, but this doesn't really affect anything in your runs, so yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. So up next we have the minions from Yokai Peak, or specifically the melee ones. Now, to be honest, this isn't really considered an anomaly, but it's just a little weird exploit. Now this is pretty difficult, I will give it that, but basically the idea is when you have a melee minion approaching you, if you run up to them and then just stand so your back is touching their back, they actually won't be able to attack you, and you can get some free damage without them doing anything. Now, again, just like the Northern Lands one, this doesn't really help you in any way whatsoever, but it's just a weird little quirk that I guess Voldex forgot to patch or something. But the fact that it exists is just kind of weird. It's fun to mess around with as well, even though it doesn't really do anything. So, yeah. So on the topic of Yokai Peak, this is actually more widely known, and I'm not going to list this as another item because there are 3 other interesting items I thought I'd cover. This is the boss's randomly freezing or not attacking. This was a lot more relevant in the release of Yokai Peak and during the release at the Halloween event. And the reason it happens is beyond me, but basically what happens is you just enter the arena or attack the boss outside the arena, and it just breaks them. I have no clue why, and I couldn't get it to happen every single time. And I think this is kind of a rare bug because I've only had this happen once, other than the time from the Halloween event where it was literally broken for a few minutes to an hour. So yeah, I guess that wraps up number 2 and Yokai Peak in general. So yeah, pretty weird bug, but it's a thing. Now this next item actually doesn't really affect gameplay that much, but it's still something that bugged me. Once Voldex pushed out their first quality of life update, the first thing I instantly noticed is on Gilded Skies, the minion animations are kinda messed up, except for the Draconic Familiars. So as you see from this clip, this is a clip taken from before Voldex pushed their quality of life. And this clip is from when Voldex published their quality of life. You can see the Dracani Warriors and the Dracani Knights are kinda weirdly moving, and that is not supposed to happen. Now I'm unsure of what Voldex actually did behind the scenes other than adding that mini boss bar, and later in the Yokai Peak update changed the item dropping. I'm not sure what they did, but the fact that this is a thing kind of bothers me, and it kind of would have been nice if Voldex revamped the animations to make them look better, because let's be honest, the animations in Gilded Skies aren't even that good. So yeah, kind of a personal opinion on that one, and this is kind of a little nitpick. And while we're on the topic of nitpicks, you probably noticed in Yokai Peak, in the show players section, you probably noticed that your damage sometimes goes to -6, 7, maybe -8 QI. And this is actually a limit with computers or specific numbers. Now I'm actually going to cover some computer stuff because I'm quite a computer nerd, but if you don't want to hear that, then you can just skip ahead. So basically, the reason it's going to negative is it's known as an overflow in the number system. So the fact that it goes to negative indicates that it's an integer value, and Roblox supports 64-bit integers. So it goes all the way up to 2 to the power of 63 minus 1 for the positive end, and for the negative end, it goes to 2 to the power of -63. So these are known as signed numbers, so it can go from negative something to positive something, where if it was just an unsigned number, then it can go from 0 all the way up to the normal number. So you probably know from some other games that support really large numbers that they do not have these problems. This is because they are using number values, or in more computer terms, double values, or floating, whatever what you want. But doubles can go up to infinity. If you've been developing on Roblox, you probably know you can go up to infinity, maybe not even as far as you think it might be. But this is kind of why it's negative. So surprisingly enough, this isn't actually a new problem. It's actually a problem since Dungeon Quest was released. This problem wasn't relevant until Gilded Skies because it was actually possible to get your damage to negative numbers at that time, because I tried it once on wave defense while carrying someone, and I noticed my damage was going to negative 9 QI, which is the limit for 64-bit numbers, at least in the positive and the negative end. So it just keeps looping around from negative 9 QI up to positive 9 QI, and just keeps going like that in a cycle. So yeah, I guess that wraps up this section. A lot of ranting, but some weird nitpicks. Now this next feature was actually patched in the Yokai Peak update, but it's the resetting your character problem. So you probably know from VCappy's era of dungeon quests, whenever you respawn, your character would be gray for a second and then everything would load in. There was actually a problem with resetting your character, so if you reset your character while your character was gray, you would fall apart, and if you are too late or too early, I don't remember, you will actually completely break your character. And this is actually somewhat annoying, but it's also kind of cool at the same time. So, yeah. Also, I don't know if this happens every single time, but apparently in the tutorial dungeon, you can actually reset your character, which you actually were never able to do before. And if you reset after you start a dungeon, you will actually break the entire tutorial. I don't know why this happens, but the fact that you were able to reset now is a clear problem that Voldex probably overlooked. But yeah, that's a small little thing that I took note of. In fact, one of my group chat images were based on resetting and then taking a picture of the helmets just on their own. And because I don't exploit on Roblox, which who the heck would, I couldn't really get good pictures anymore, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's probably for the best that this glitch was patched, because it probably annoyed a lot of other people when they just fall apart and they don't know why they're not respawning. So, too bad that it got patched, but it's probably for the best. Now last up, this is actually the most game-breaking, and I'm pretty sure nobody knows about this, but it's the daily rewards problem. Now, what do I mean by this? So, you probably know you just get daily rewards, and then you can have the option to buy a refresh, well, 2 of them at most. Now, you've probably had a hint at this in VCappy's era, but sometimes your purchases just won't go through. But if you just keep purchasing again, then you will actually get duplicate items. Now, these aren't like these technically aren't actual duplicate items like through trading glitch or something where they're the exact same pot and something. These are actually just duplicate drops. So you get 2 of the same weapon in the same color, but their pods may not be the same, so they're technically not really duplicates, but you can take that however you want. Now there is actually an exploit with this. You can still do this in Dungeon Quest as of right now, but basically what you want to do is have the refresh prompt open and have another account walk near the daily rewards. As you click the purchase button, wait maybe like a split second and then collect your daily on the other account. If your timing is correct, you will get the exact same items on both accounts. However, unless you're like insanely lucky or you're like in the lower dungeons, they will most likely be completely different pots. Like in this time where I got a green Akuma Mage helmet, the one on my main was 26 million spell power, and the one on my alt was actually 27.4 million. Now, of course it's not better than my current helmet, but it's still weird that it happens. I've tried this with a lot of other days, or whenever my daily was available, and I managed to pull it off every single time. So while this is in the game, you could potentially get more legendaries or purple Akuma pieces than you originally probably would have gotten if you were grinding Yokai Peak or something. But I'm not sure if it's okay abusing this type of thing, since although the items are technically not duplicated, you are getting 2 of them at the same time, which is which is possible probability-wise. However, the chance of it is so low that practically nobody has gotten one yet. Now, there are some crazy drops that I've actually gotten in my lifetime. So during the era of volcanic chambers, there are 2 insanely lucky drops that I have gotten. Now, partly reason could be because I was playing during an XP or 1 billion event or whatever the heck it was. But it was an event where you got an extra item and you got extra legendary luck. And during this era, my first insanely lucky drop gave me this. A purple Overlord's Warrior armor, a Warrior Legendary, and a gray Overlord's Guardian armor, all in one drop. Now, a lot of people didn't believe me that this was a legit drop, but I can guarantee you this was actually legit because I don't exploit and I don't Photoshop. Now, the next insanely lucky drop was this one in Volcanic Chambers during around the same era. I managed to pull a Mage Legendary and a purple Lava King's Mage Helmet all in one drop as well. Again, a lot of people didn't believe me that this was a thing, but it really is a thing. It's just that the chance is so low that it's not humanly possible, or presumed not humanly possible to get it. But the fact that it is possible is just crazy. And because people getting insanely low things, people always assume that it's fake regardless. Like, there's a lot of Photoshop images, like, especially in Volcanic Chambers. I remember that one time someone Photoshopped 4 Mage Legendaries and Dailies. And there was a lot of other insanely lucky drops that were presumed to be fake. Especially the EIR and EIF spells when they first got introduced. A lot of people didn't believe that those were the new spells since they were, 1, they were so lazy, and 2, it was just insanely lucky for someone to get it on their first daily when the update released. So yeah, a little bit weird on that side, but I guarantee you, if you do this glitch where you get 2 legendaries or 2 purple Akuma pieces from the daily, I guarantee no one's gonna believe you unless you show like video evidence or something. So I guess that's gonna wrap up everything in this video. 5 weird things and kind of a shorter video than normal, but I hope you enjoyed this, and please consider subscribing to my channel for more Dungeon Quest videos or Roblox and Animal Crossing stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.